Fraternities and sororities are now suing the school over a policy that they just adopted last year. It discourages students from joining single-gender social clubs, which Harvard says can lead to misogynistic aggression. Fraternities in the federal suit say, quote, Harvard's view that all male organizations cause sexual assault because they are all male, and that there is no value to all female or all male organizations, are sexist in the extreme. Here now, Christopher Colby, a senior at Harvard University and a campus reform correspondent and member of one of these off-campus fraternities. Christopher, good to have you here tonight. So you are suing Harvard based on what exactly?
Absolutely, Martha. You mentioned, thank you so much for having me, by the way. You mentioned that this lawsuit aims to target students who are working or are in these fraternities. It doesn't mean to discourage them. It actually means to bar them from entering them at all. Sadly, Harvard believes that it's able to take their views on what's right and wrong for their students and how they should associate and put them directly into almost a law. I mean, they don't want people to hold athletic captaincies if they're in fraternities or sororities. They don't want them to make friends with people who are in them. And it's very clear that their view of this, their strong view of this, is present in the sanctions right now. Yeah.
Yeah, even if you wanted to apply to be a Rhodes Scholar or to achieve something of that level, they will not write you a letter of recommendation if they find out that you're in one of these all-male or all-female groups. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just that either, because Harvard manages to sneak a lot of different things in this sanction package. There's more than just the big scholarships, too. Imagine if you wanted to go study abroad in Ireland for a semester and you submitted your application for a scholarship. And then, the university in Ireland checks with Harvard and says, is this student a good student? And for some reason, you being in a fraternity or being in a sorority is the reason why that's not the case. It's kind of incredible that they think they can make this assertion, but that's exactly what this sanction does, and it's what the lawsuit aims to avoid.
It's interesting because there are groups at Harvard that are ethnically based, other groups that do those groups exclude people who are not of that ethnicity?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, there are groups like, for instance, the Latin American Students Association or the Black Men's Forum. These students exist on campus, and Harvard's actually very supportive of them. Harvard also, as the Leadership Institute's campus reform reports, they're also supportive of things like the Black congregation at the end of the year, where they have a graduation ceremony for these minority groups. They're very supportive of these, and they like that these students get together and associate as they do. It really makes you realize that Harvard wants some students to associate in certain ways, and if they don't go along with how they associate, then the consequences to them are a reservation against these scholarships, and perhaps more importantly, a kind of overarching moral mandate that says, you're not doing things right here on the Harvard campus if you're in a fraternity and a sorority. You're doing things poorly if you want to make great connection with fellow women in a sorority. Or if you're in a fraternity, the only thing you want to do is go have these raucous misogynist parties. There's no way you could be in this fraternity because you like the idea of brotherhood and of service. Harvard seems to think that these are things that, no matter what, are denigrating to the Harvard campus and the academic life and the pursuit of knowledge. And they think that these other minority groups are just perfectly fine. It's a fine line, and students, if they don't go against this sanction and if this lawsuit isn't successful, becomes the sort of deciding factor in pretty much every part of student life or wherever Harvard sees fit.
It's a very interesting battle. Christopher Colby, thank you very much for coming on tonight. Good to have you with us.
Absolutely.
And that is our story for this evening. I will see you again.